Welcome back. This gets exciting now. All of those mathematical arithmetic errors you saw me make a little bit ago. Well, we're going to solve that problem. We're going to solve that problem by going to an electronic logging system. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your smartphone and go to your app store and do a search for Fleet Complete HOS. Okay. So Fleet Complete HOS. And the proper app has that red circle with the 3 white arrows in it. Okay? So that's what you're looking for. Fleet Complete HOS with that red circle, white arrows in it. When you find that, download it. It's free. Okay? And I'll walk you through signing up for this thing.
Is it the EOD?
Has it got the red circle with the 3 white arrows?
Hours of service.
If it's got the red circle with the 3 white arrows, it's the right one. If it doesn't, it ain't. Okay?
My phone just be slow.
Huh? Yours
It
is slow?
downloads a little slow.
Yep. So some of you, this will load pretty quick. Others, it'll take a bit. Anybody got it in yet? Let me know when you do get it. in.
Yeah, I'm logging it. Go to
Got
the
it?
sign up.
Yep, there you go. All right, so now do sign up. Once you get it opened up, you're going to have to enter your email address and your password. Okay? You enter your email address and your password. Yep, that's it.
Let me do it. Watch this about billing.
Huh?
Oh, you gotta just push skip.
Just skip the billing
Skip the billing part. And
and it'll install.
My phone's so slow.
And
It's
you
at
have our
29%.
activation code,
Okay. I'm sorry, what?
and then you are gonna give us our activation code?
I am. All right, so you're all right, ready for that?
I'm ready.
I need a new phone. It'll beat up.
And you are
Mike
Bert. There we go. So everything's lowercase. Everything's lowercase. Christine, right?
Mhm.
So everything's lowercase.
I'm done.
Elizabeth, right? Right?
So, if we could do this on our phone, would there be something to hook it up to the car, or is this actual computer that you would have to have?
So that's all lowercase.
Okay.
Followed by lowercase. I'm sorry, what?
I said, if we could install this app on our phone, is there something that would hook it up to the engine, or?
Oh, good question. You would, to make it compliant, it would be a Bluetooth connection. All lowercase.
And Bill, is this your G or your Q?
That's a Q.
Okay, that's all.
Mine's gonna do it.
Anybody else?
They say everybody connected and
Huh?
they say everybody blessed that.
Yeah, you're all set.
Oh,
And it defaults to the 8 day, 70 hour. Oh, wait a second.
Sign up.
My app saying something about it was a billing problem on the previous purchase.
Uh-oh, excuse me.
Sorry, you wanna use it?
That's okay.
Yep, 8 days, 70 hours. Okay? And you are. All lowercase, you are. That's a G. All lowercase.
It's going slowly but surely.
And we're doing 8 days, 70 hours,
I'm sorry, what?
8 days,
Yep,
70 hours.
8 days, 70 hours.
This isn't downloading.
Said all lowercase, correct?
All lowercase. The activation code. That activation code is a one-time use. You can completely forget it once you use it.
So when if you are, since we already have it on our phone, would this be something that our employer
No,
just be able to?
no. This is for interstate. This isn't for anybody else. The purpose of this process is for you to learn how to use it.
Okay.
So US 8 days, 7
US 8 days, 70 hours. Yeah. So once you get this thing working, you're going to end up with 3 circles. Okay.
Getting the code invalid.
Try to code again. All those letters are lowercase. Yep. That's yours? Okay. What'd you do?
No.
No. Well, wait a minute now. I don't know what you set here.
That one maybe? That one.
No, yeah, that's past it, right there.
I could have hit with that. Yep.
There you go. So N5, K3, Y, O,
downloading something, you have to use your card. But it's when I use your other, that's maybe why.
Oh.
Anything else on that?
Huh?
Not just right.
But what's your correct spell?
It is.
A-E-L, but yours is E-A-L. So it's, oh, so I misspelled it there. Okay. You know, you're gonna sign up. Yep, now, agree to those 2 things, so say yes, yes. Agree to those 2 things. Okay, and then put in your email address and your password, and then you put in the information. Yep. There you go. Okay? Alright. So those of you that got these, let me show you what the deal is here, okay? Now, to start off with, you're at 0, correct? Right?
No, I'm at it says select the rule, select the rule. 7 and 70.
US 7.
Just scroll. Yep, you're good. Hit done. And you do incidentally have power at your counters there. There are outlets underneath if you need to power your phones. Okay.
Okay. I'm
The
at the
internet's
three
not
dots.
hooked up down there, but the power is. Right? So this is an electronic logging tool, I'm going to call it. Okay? Not a logging device. My trucks are equipped with a Bluetooth connection. So if you synced it with the vehicle via Bluetooth, it would be a compliant logging system, right? Now you are off duty and you're at 0, right?
Yes.
So the first thing let's do is let's go to the bottom of the screen down here where it says off duty. Click that, touch that, and we're gonna change it to on duty, not driving. So touch where it says off duty, change it to on duty, not driving. Now, if you've got your settings in your phone to pick up the location, it picks up the location automatically. And then all you have to do is hit done.
Mine did it from my house.
And now you should have a single circle
Yep.
that says drive available 11 hours. Okay? Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you scroll from right to left, you're going to get 4 circles.
Oh, there it goes.
And now it tells you your drive time, which still is 11 because you haven't started driving. But notice that your 70-hour duty cycle has started to count down. Your 14-hour window of driving opportunity has started to count down, and your 8-hour break is starting to be tracked. Your break that needs to be done within 8 hours. How cool is that? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This thing is going to track everything for you. Now, once you have gone on duty, now you can go pre-trip a truck and then drive it. Now, the bottom icon here where it says power unit, please don't mess with power unit because then you could inadvertently put a mechanical defect into my system on one of my trucks, and I'd prefer you didn't do that, okay? So don't mess with the power unit for that reason. What I want you to play with, though, is the duty status. Click your duty status again, and now let's go driving. So change the on duty, not driving to driving. And it is required to have 2 things entered now. The location, which probably goes automatic, but then you must have an odometer reading in there. Put any number in, 1, 2, 3. Hit done. Now your 11-hour window has started to count down, hasn't it?
And mine wants more, enter invoice commodity.
No, you don't have to do that. You can just,
Now
you
it
just
says
can,
drive available 10:59.
yeah, you can go, you can skip past that. Okay. So now the 11 hours is counting down. As you get close to your 8-hour break, guess what your phone's going to start doing?
Warning you.
Alerting you, warning you. As you get close to your 11-hour window, what's it going to do?
Alert you.
As you get close to your 14-hour drive window, what's it going to do?
Alert
You're done.
Exactly. It's going to alert you that you're reaching those limits. How cool is that?
you. That's awesome.
And then it's going to track all of the time to the minute of everything that you do. You'll have the ability to open up a paper log and look at it like that. The way you do the paper log from that screen, you want the dashboard. On my tablet here, it's up in the left, creating the dashboard. Dashboard looks like that. Under dashboard, what you want to click is paper log, daily logs.
Mhm.
They say you must be on duty.
So it has South St. Paul start circle, South St. Paul start up shift, South St. Paul on,
Yep.
and
Yep. So
okay.
that's, but from there, we're gonna find the pay-per-view. What was yours doing?
The same one, not forward, assigned to forward
You
unit.
don't have to do that. You're right.
So
Daily
would
log,
this
or
be,
daily log.
would this work if I got full by share? If I got full over? And then when it's-
Unless you undo. And then from that page, on my tablet, oops, that's not it.
This could be, oh, this could be Tracy's.
Excuse me.
On my tablet, I got these 3 little dots up here. That's not it. I gotta, it changes whatever you're using. Here it is. So here's my daily log on my tablet. So you just gotta figure out how your device opens that. And then you can tilt it
So
horizontally.
which one? You just click one of them.
Oh, wait a second. 3 dots. Hit the 3 dots.
Hit the 3 dots.
Open
Oh, open
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view. Okay, gotcha.
Now you got it. You got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it? Okay. Got it? Cool. Right?
I like it.
All
Now,
right.
what I really love about this is that now it's tracking the location, it's tracking the mileage. Okay. If you've got a connected device, then you don't have to enter the odometer reading. But because we're not connected, that's why we have to enter the odometer reading. Okay. So there's your fully compliant log. You will be able to sign this electronically at the end of the day. You'll be able to sign, you know, which truck, which trailer you're using. You can make remarks. Everything that's required by the rules are allowed in this system. Okay? All right. So let's back out of that with some sort of back arrows. Go to your menu. Go to your dashboard. So dashboard gets you back to your single circle once you find your dashboard. Okay? And now it's counting down, right? It's 10 hours and 55 minutes. Scrolling right to left gives you your 4 little circles, and all 4 of these things are counting. The 8-hour,
Shift drive.
the 8-hour mandatory break is counting down. The 70-hour cycle is counting down. The driving is counting down. The 14-hour window is counting down. Everything's counting down. How cool is that?
That's cool.
So it tracks it, lets you know where you're at. Okay?
So basically, we're saying you have 7 hours and 53 minutes to take that break.
Right. You must take it by that point. You cannot drive past that
Past that
point
point.
without taking your 30-minute break.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so now you're ready to take your break.
Yep.
Of course, it's not gonna be this early, but now you're ready to take your break. How do you enter that?
Then you go off duty.
So then you'll just
Yep,
click
should
back
we
up
go
on
in here?
top.
Change that to off duty. Now, to go off duty, I have to put in location and odometer.
So would you like us
That
to
is
sort
what
it
I
out?
do.
That's, so you keep a track of what you know, how we do it.
Right. And if you're synced, if you're connected to the vehicle, it'll do it automatically. But we're not hooked up to a vehicle. Okay? So this is going to track you going on duty, off duty. It's going to track you driving, not driving. Now, here's what I'm suggesting that you're going to do for the balance of your time here at Interstate Truck Driving School. You're going to use this. Okay? You're going to use this to go on and off duty every day now for the rest of your time here. Anything that you do with a steering wheel in front of you, log it as on duty. Excuse me, driving. Anything with a steering wheel in front of you, log it as driving. Anything else, log it as on duty, not driving. Those of you in the 160-hour program, okay? So I can see 4 of you that have orange lanyards. When you do your initial phase of training, I'm not going to ask you to use this in the truck. but after you pass your test and you do your final phase of training in the big trucks, I'm gonna ask you to use that. So I'm gonna meet you for a driving session. I'm gonna say, okay, you got your license with you? Okay, good, all right. Get your electronic log out. Let's put you on duty. Okay, let's go do the inspection. And you're gonna be on duty, not driving, during the inspection. And then when you take the wheel, okay, go to driving, put in the mileage. You're gonna track it with your electronic device when you're driving our trucks, okay? Again, this is for 160-hour program people, second phase of training. I'm not gonna worry about this prior to your road test. You don't have to log your time for the road test. So we're not gonna worry about it until you pass that test and move on to the next stage. All right, make sense? Now, you can also make adjustments in this. This system has the ability to make adjustments, and what happens is you go in and request an edit, and then I'm going to get a message of that as the administrator of this system, okay? Let me show you what that looks like here. So I'm going to be tracking what you all are doing here, okay, with this system. So as you go on and off duty, as you go into the driving and off the driving, I'm going to be able to monitor all of that. If you are committing violations for not going off duty for enough time, I'm going to see that. I will get alerts. I will get emails as the administrator of this process. And that's exactly what your employer is going to get. So that's another beauty of this whole system, is that your employer is getting real-time data on where you're at with your hours of duty status. When I was a dispatcher at Penske Logistics, we were using paper logs. This is 1997, 1998. And the drivers were turning in their logs once a week or once every 2 weeks, and it was a real handful to keep track of what was going on, okay? So this is a huge tool for the trucking industry to have real-time access to people's duty status. Now, right now, I've got one guy, Mackay, is in violation. Now, according to this, Mackay has been driving all day today. He's been driving all day yesterday. All day the day before.
That's a lot of experience though.
So, the deal is, this is real simple. He went into driving and forgot to change it. Okay? And so he's been driving for an extensive period of time here. So I got to keep going back and figure out where he started this. So now we're into last week. So he started driving, looks like the 26th of last week at 9 in the evening. 9:08 to be exact. And never came off the driving line. Okay? So I need to get a hold of him and say, hey, you forgot. And then he'll make an edit request. I'll get notice of that, and then I'll be able to approve that edit. Okay? But I would really prefer not to see this from y'all. Okay? I'd like to see some activity that is following what you're doing. Okay? So here's Matt's. You have to open up here. So that's today, just started. Okay. Let's find mine. Here's me. So there's my log of what I've done so far today. Okay. I have to go back. Did I do on duty on Tuesday? Yes, not. So I've been off duty technically for a while, but that's today. Okay. And it's going to give me the locations, mileage readings. According to this, I drove 1.2 miles a bit ago. I drove for 2 minutes. Okay, then I went off duty at 11:29. So it tracks all of that information. How cool is that? This is a terrific device. I mean, using a paper log is such a burdensome, laborious process. I mean, we messed with it for an hour here this morning. And it's kind of a pain, isn't it?
Easy to get off track, miscalculate.
Yep. And I'm telling you, I hated doing it. And the reason for it, and you saw why, because I struggle with adding the stuff up. That wasn't a pretentious facade what I was doing earlier today. I struggle with that. And you know, sometimes it'll take me twice as long to figure out my numbers than it did to write the thing down in the first place, because I'm making mistakes with it. Okay. And another thing again that I was doing on that log that you noticed is that I was doing things in 15-minute increments to try to make it easier. This thing's going to take it to the minute. Okay. Because according to this, I was driving for 6 minutes. My available drive time is 10 hours and 54 minutes. It's right to the minute. Okay. So now, when this is a legitimate automatic on-board device, that means that it is synced to the vehicle. That means the vehicle cannot be driven without this thing realizing that. But again, they've got stuff figured out. What's the speed you have to reach in order for it to kick in? At least 5 miles an hour. Okay, so you can do yard moves, they call it, moving the truck and trailer from one loading dock to the next loading dock, and that's perfectly fine. All right. You can add the comments for adverse conditions, emergency driving. All of that stuff is capable in this system. Okay. The other thing that's required of this in order to make it legitimate, a compliant system, it has to be visible while you're driving so that it can alert you if it goes down. Okay? And the other benefit of that, then, it's also alerting you of your reaching any sort of time limits. You should know that ahead of time. You should have a good idea of what you're doing, but this thing's going to alert you if you momentarily forget what it is you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Maybe a good song came on Sirius Radio and you're rocking out. Okay? Any of you have Sirius FM radio or XM radio? It's awesome. Drive all the way across the country and listen to the same radio station. I love it. Okay. Comments, thoughts, questions?
Mine, I have one. So basically, when we come in the morning or turn this on, off duty, not off, yeah,
On duty.
on duty, not driving.
Not driving.
Until we get behind the wheel every time.
And then when you're behind the wheel of a simulator range truck or a truck with an instructor, go on duty driving. And then when you quit, go back to on duty not driving. And then when you quit for the day, go to off duty.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, one thing about the app, so if you've got this on and you go to your dashboard and you hit log out, you've closed the app. But what duty status are you in?
It's still on.
See, and that's what happens to people. If you're still on duty in the app, guess where you are in the system? On duty. The app is closed on your phone, but you're still on duty. So please remember, if you want to close the app because you don't want it draining power during the day, that's fine. But then now from here forward, instead of signing up, you've all signed up already. So here forward, you put log in. The app will remember your email address, but you got to put in your password again. Not the activation code. That's a one-time use thing. You're done with that. You put in your password, whatever that is, and then log back in again. Okay? Make sense? Now, I spend about $750 a month on this system. so as to be able to, I've got it plugged into several trucks, okay? I'd really like you to use it, to take advantage of that, okay? I mean, that's $9,000 a year we spend on this system here. Now, it does some other things for me. Let me show you some of the other things it does for me. I know where all my trucks are. So check this out.
Yeah, I have a friend, and then they had hired a driver, and the driver was hauling liquor,
Yeah.
and the driver just mysteriously disappeared for 2 days, and so did the liquor.
Okay, well, see, I know where my truck is
Right.
Wow.
because I got a system in here. So let's see. There's got to be something out in Egan today. There's one of our trucks. So 603 is on Cliff Lake Road as of 11:37. So that's 4 minutes ago. It was going 27 miles an hour. All right. And I can track it. Let's see where it's been today.
That's great.
Okay. Give a moment for this to come up.
It's so funny that since you said the other day to use your cruise control,
Yeah.
I've been mindfully going with that cruise control.
Oops.
And other drivers try and bully you. and make
Dude,
you
I've
go
had
fast
so
and
many
just be on
people
your
bully me
bumper.
this week.
But go around. You
Yeah.
Driving?
want to go fast, you
Yes.
go
Me
around.
too.
I get a lot of. And then
But I used to be like that, so I understand
I
it.
told
But
you
now
this
I'm like,
you're more
CDL, I just
mindful.
want to put on the back of my car, CDLs. I'm not speeding.
Okay.
No, me too, because I'm like back all the time, like.
All right. Here's where my truck has been today. Now,
Dang.
at 5:53 a.m., it was going 62 miles an hour on Interstate 35 heading out to Egan. That was Mark. He had an appointment to meet somebody at 6 a.m.
She was speeding?
No, it was a 70 mile an hour speed limit, so he was going 62. Now, the red ones tell us that he was speeding. Now, it says right here he was going 29 miles an hour in a 20 mile an hour zone. There aren't any 20 mile an hour zones. Maybe there's a curve out there, okay? I'm not going to put too much credibility in that. And then right here, it says he was going 40 miles an hour in a 30. Now, the system is perhaps not accurate enough. That is a 40 mile an hour road. That's not a 30 mile an hour road. So I can tell you right now, he wasn't speeding. He was only going 40. And that's Galaxy. I know that road. It's a 40 mile an hour road. Okay. So it might have picked up a speed limit from someplace near. It was on Rhinecliff Road at 10:19. Here, it was on Cliff Road at 10:49, and it wasn't moving. These spots are where it stopped for a moment. Okay. So those are 0 mile an hour. It might have been traffic light. They might have stopped to go over something. Okay.
Is that like somebody running, like doing their driving test?
Yeah,
or- okay.
absolutely. So, that's another thing is that if somebody comes back after a road test and says, well, he took me down such and such a road, I can go in there and look. Okay, here he was on Black Hawk Road at 7:13. That was before the test. Okay, so this gentleman tested at 8 o'clock. That's at 6:39. That's at 11:09. So that's Diffley. The exam station is down here. 10:23. 11:07. So the exam station is right here. So 8:31. That was during the test. 9:49, that's probably after the test. Over here is the backing maneuvers, okay? So here's a backing maneuver done at 8:49. There's another one done at 9:03. So that's where he was. That's where his backing was done. Was right over there. Okay. That's the day and age you and I live in. With that sort of technology. Well, okay, but it is what it is. All
I
right.
mean, not for a business owner, but just if you can do it, you can track this, then people can track this.
Well, I put a device in the truck to do that, though. Okay. If the police get a warrant, they can put a GPS tracking device on you too. Somebody that doesn't have a warrant can also do it. Not legally, but they can do it. Okay.
Also good subpoena if you have a new car and you have a GPS in your dash, they can just subpoena the GPS out.
Yep.
To exactly where you are.
And they can do pings off of cell phone towers to tell where you are. I mean, we live in that day and age.
Big brother, it's Big Brother.
Yep. There's video cameras everywhere now. Okay. You have to throw your cell phone away and drive an old car and go out into a cornfield to be all by yourself. I mean, it's just the time and age that we live in. So, there's good news and bad news to that. The thing is, I got no problem with any of my activities. My wife can track me on my phone. I've got Find Me Friends on my phone. My wife can track me 24/7. That's fine by me. What do I care? I'm not going any place that she doesn't know about or and would have any issues with. Okay. Yeah. So I got no problem with it. People that are involved in clandestine activities might object to it. So that's a part of the good news. Now remember, your carrier will also get alerts if you hit the brake pedal hard. Your carrier will get alerts if you make a quick lane change. Okay, any sort of sudden inertia movements, your carrier is going to get an alert. And so it isn't surprising at the end of the day that your dispatcher calls you up and goes, so what did you do at 11 o'clock this morning where you had to hit the brakes so darn hard? Okay? You shouldn't be hitting your brakes hard. Not if you're a defensive driver, not if you're driving cautiously, patiently, alertly. You should not have to hit the brakes hard. Okay?
Only due to an idiot.
No, because you're going to compensate for that idiot ahead of time. Okay? You're going to
Always have enough space.
You're gonna.
Sometimes those little cars, I see them every day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, because understand something. Check this out. What you just described, right? I understand that, but listen. Watch. Let me explain something. Car is passing me, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna do this, right?
Mhm.
I'm already preparing for that when he's here, because I know about it ahead of time. I know that behavior is to be expected, therefore anticipated, therefore I'm going to adjust for it ahead of time. I'm ready for it before it happens.
So when you just see him on your side, you coming up, you already know that's
Ease
the
off the
intention.
pedal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, ease off the pedal.
Because most of the time that is the intention. to get
I
up
had
and
somebody
pass
call in and complain about one of my employees driving the other day. Now I've got dash cameras in the trucks, right? And so I sat down with that employee and I analyzed what happened. Now it wasn't anywhere near as a big of a deal as this guy who called in claimed it was. But the bottom line is my employee's driving down the road and there's a vehicle in front, and this vehicle in front slowed down and he got too close. By my standards, he got too close. Okay? And so I addressed that with him. Now you need to stay. Well, I know he was slowing down, but you need to slow down. Okay. But then the thing that I really struggled with, what he did was, then he went to exit. My employee went to exit, and he pulled up so that bumpers were pretty even with each other. I ain't doing that.
For eye contact. Don't make
Well,
eye
but see,
contact.
I don't trust this guy, right? I mean, his driving behavior is already questionable. That being the case, I ain't getting him alongside him.
Right.
So the way I drive a truck is more conservatively than 90% of the people out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I can introduce you to truck drivers that got 3 million miles accident-free driving. How are they doing that? They're patient, cautious, alert. They leave space. They slow down ahead of time. They don't drive themselves into a situation that they can't get out of. They slow down ahead of time. Now, accident-free driving, that does not include hitting a deer. Okay, that is not a preventable collision. But let's talk about that for just 1 second. If a deer runs out in front of you, what do? Say, damn, that's a dead deer.
Mhm.
You die.
And you hit it. Okay? You don't overreact to that.
They
You
say don't never try to swerve out the way.
Never.
You got too
No.
much
Just
To
hit.
try to get him to
Right.
control what you do.
Right. So there's a real discipline to this, and there's an awareness, and there's anticipation and expectation, and I'm telling you, you can drive these things safely. Okay? But you got to put that thing in gear with that mindset that that's what I'm going to do today.
So have you hit a deer,
Oh, sure.
semi?
Not in my rig, no.
No.
And incidentally, deer whistles work. I've experimented with them. That you can buy devices and put on your vehicle that emit a high-pitched whistle that will scare the deer out of the way. Works really good, except if you have your Labrador with you, because your lab would be in the back seat going due to the high speed, the high-pitched whistle. Okay, so you can't do that with pets, right? Why is the dog frothing? Okay, anyway, it's kind of mean. So we'll talk about defensive driving next week, but that's the nuts and bolts of it right there. I mean, and see, I want you to have that as a mindset ahead of time, that you can control this. When I delivered paper to printing companies around town, I could tell you what night of the week it was by the way people drove. What night of the week was the worst? Friday night. It was like they were all kamikaze pilots. It was like they're paid to run into you. Okay, it was just insane. It was crazy, just crazy. Yeah. So driving long distances, I can tell you how close to the city I am by the way people drive. Because here in the inner city, you know, especially when you go into the suburbs are the worst. People with the BMWs and stuff. Okay, and you're all like that, right? The further away you are, the more kicked back people are. If you go up to a four-way stop sign in Ely, Minnesota, it's like, you go. No, that's okay, you go. Nah, that's okay. I went first yesterday, you go first today. I mean, they are so laid back up in the woods. And then the closer you get to town, the more assertive and aggressively they drive, okay? But that goes back to our route planning again that we were just doing earlier today, okay? I do not want to drive through Atlanta, Georgia in the middle of the day because of what you're talking about, because that's what they do, okay? So I want to go through late enough where there's not much traffic. The risk at that hour of the night is what?
Minimum.
Okay, but what is the risk? What's out there that's risky at that time of night?
Drunk driver.
The drunks, okay? And so the biggest thing I'm concerned about is that wrong way drunk driver coming the wrong way in the freeway. So I'm paying attention to that. I'm mindful of that. I'm alert to that, okay? So I'm thinking ahead of that. If ever I'm going around a curve with a big barrier next to me so I can't see around it, I kick back into speed, maybe move over a lane, and I'm just constantly alert and aware of that, all right? Going back to this trip planning thing, remember, you're going to get a lot of support and a lot of advice and a lot of infrastructure here from this industry to teach you how to do this stuff. This is another reason why I'm suggesting you don't become an owner-operator right from the get-go. There's too much to know. Would you agree? There's a whole bunch of things going on here that you got to figure out. Because again, you don't drive down the road in a truck and go, oh, my time's up, let's exit. Because now where are you?
Anyway.
And if it's the middle of the night, I mean, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? Okay? Where am I going to park? It's not that simple. Okay? But the infrastructure is there, and that's one of the things that's so great about this industry. You don't go to interstate truck driving school, then go to work for someplace and they hand you the keys. It's not the way it works. You go to work for somebody who gives you additional training, additional mentoring. Okay? So that there is this transition into becoming a self-reliant, competent truck driver, right? I think about who you go to work for in terms of how much training they give you, the kind of training. Some people are in a hurry to complete the training because they want to get that paycheck. Well, understand something. There's people that get kicked out, washed out, sent home because they can't fit in. Using this electronic logging that you're doing right now is going to put you ahead of the class when you go to work someplace. It's going to be highly advantageous for you when you show up and you already understand the rules and you already understand how to use an electronic device. Agreed?
Yes.
So please use this. Don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm a busy guy. I got a million things going on, but don't ever hesitate to say, hey, Bill, you got a minute. I might say, Not right now, but let's connect later in the day. Did you get your evaluation? See him? Okay, good. All right.
Didn't allow me just have to be
Okay. That's a good
Y'all
plan.
need to talk to Pat too today. You said
Okay.
you need to talk to him about his schedule.
Okay. Yep. So connect with Pat.
Okay.
All right. Any questions? Okay. Class dismissed for today. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Have a good day, drivers. More important,
Have a safe day.
have a safe day.
Safe day.